Hello. Um, I can't tell. I hope we're live. If anybody is out there, please just put a little comment in the comment section so that I know that you're here and that we're actually live together. Welcome. I will just wait for a moment for a few more people to log on, but I hope that everyone watching is well. I'm coming to you from this is my living room. Oh, hello, Rishma. Welcome. This is my living room in far north Queensland, Australia, where it is now about 8 p.m. at night. So we're just winding down our day. I know that for many of you in Europe, that this is kind of the middle of your day, about midday, I think. So thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited to be able to share with you this webinar, which, it's based on the course for Eckhart Academy that I developed. Oh, hello, Julia. Welcome. Yes, this webinar will be based on the course that I developed for the Eckhart Academy called Yoga-Based Tools for Kids, Parents, and Educators. So this particular webinar focuses on what tips and techniques and kind of the yogic philosophy behind how we can settle and help our kids settle when it comes time to go to sleep. So probably many of you watching this now are parents or carers or people who have, kids and young people in your life. And if you're watching this, I imagine that you may experience the extreme tiredness that can come with the job of parenting. It's a huge job in caring and guiding these young people through the process of growing up. It's a huge job. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of love and a lot of concentration. And, at the end of the day, we're tired. As parents and carers, it's really easy to get just as tired, probably more tired than our kids. And especially if, the kids in our lives are not sleeping or going to bed when we think they should or want them to go when we want them to go to bed. Or if they have interrupted sleep throughout the night, that can cause pretty big exhaustion in a parent. So I just want to acknowledge that for everyone, and just reassure you, that even though you may be so incredibly tired, and when that exhaustion sets in, and everything is about 1,000 times harder when you're tired, there is no doubt that of the love that you have for the kids in your life. Yeah. And no matter what happens, you're doing the best. We all are doing the best that we can. And I just want to acknowledge that. So, and even just by watching this webinar, you are reaching out for some assistance, some tips, some techniques. It's all a learning process. There's no manual that comes with parenthood. So, every child is different. Every family dynamic is different. Every day is different. So, with this information that I am about to share with you, I encourage you to just listen to it, to sit with it, to maybe even watch this video a few times, because after this webinar is finished, you will immediately receive an email that offers a 20% discount on the full Eckhart Academy course. And also in that email will be a recording, the link to the recording of this webinar, so that you can watch it again and listen again to sort of the philosophy behind what I'm sharing and also the techniques that I will share with you. Let them sink in, and use this information to develop your own sort of bedtime procedure, ritual, tips and tools to help yourself center and get settled as well. So you get to choose sort of what it is that resonates with you, and take what it is that resonates most with you from this webinar. Yes. So I also am, I'm not a sleep expert, but I do have two children of my own that who were, they didn't like going to sleep. I have a son who, still is a night owl. But these are the tips and techniques that I've kind of adapted through yogic philosophy that have helped, at least help my children and the children that I know be able to come out of this sort of world of distractions where their minds are just going so fast, and being taken by so many thoughts at one time, to just sort of help bring the attention from this sort of external distracted state to a more internal one-pointed focus state that leads to natural rest. Yeah. So these tips and techniques are probably good, and the information, of course, good to use for yourself, and also for kids who may be starting from about age 3 or 4. And feel free to adapt all of this information, like I said, into, in ways that are beneficial for the children that are, maybe in a different age group in your life. Even some of it may even be appropriate for kids younger than 3, and definitely for kids older than 3. And remember that you know we are all different at different moments in different days, and these techniques and this information um, is offered to you not as a set strategy or plan, yeah, but just for you to sort of let it percolate in you, um, and so that then you can express it in the way that is most beneficial for you and the children in your life in any given moment. Yeah, so let's start first. We start with you as the parent and as the sort of caregiver, the guide of these children. And perhaps if you're watching this, you are a parent or a carer of a child who, doesn't like to go to sleep, doesn't want to go to sleep, or perhaps has difficulty calming down enough to come to a state of natural rest, especially at the end of the day. And at the end of each day, I know, it's exhausting, especially if you're also a working parent or guardian, and maybe even exhaustion is an understatement. And when it comes to bedtime, it would be so easy just to sort of pop everyone in their bedrooms and say, okay, great, good night, go to sleep. And unfortunately, that's usually not the way that it works. So that, we would all love to have a cup of tea or watch a movie or read a book or whatever. And so often, especially our children are still have very busy minds at night. And so, perhaps the reality is that the children in our lives, don't feel ready for sleep, or perhaps, still have an incredibly busy mind at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. And these children don't have the skills and the knowledge and the wisdom yet to be able to recognize that in themselves and detach from that barrage of thoughts in order to relax. So for whatever reason, perhaps sleep just isn't happening, right? and at the end of the day, I know it's hard to muster the energy to still be present with our children, but um, you know, more than what we say as parents and more than what we do as parents, what is really detected by kids is how we are, how we show up for them and how we are present for them. And so I really encourage you at bedtime to take a moment, and just center yourself. Remember, the love that you have for these children in your life, for the children in your life. Connect to that. Connect to that and let that lead the way in kind of helping them into this state of relaxation using the philosophy and the tools that I will share with you in a moment. Um, if you come in with frustration and with the sense of wanting things to be different than what they are, the kids will know that. So, as much as possible, if you can soften into the situation, whatever it is, try not to just wish it was different, but be there with your children. Yeah, in the state that they're in. Try to, just look at what's going on in their minds. Ask them even, what are you feeling in your body? What are you feeling in your mind that might be keeping you from being able to relax? And so this whole process starts with the quality of the attention and the consciousness that we bring into this situation around bedtime. Um, and, sometimes it's not possible to shed that sort of frustration or wishing that, gosh, I wish, things could just be quiet so I could relax as a parent. Sometimes it's not so easy to shift that. Yeah, especially when we are really, really tired as parents. But it's always more beneficial to surrender and soften into the situation rather than trying to fight it. Oh dear, it's looking like my connection is unstable. Let me see. Are you still there? Is anybody still there? If you are, let me know. Hmm. Okay. Oh, hello from the Ukraine. Um, oh, good. You're here. Great. I just had a message on my screen that the connection was not so good. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. So yes, um, always best if you can just to surrender and soften into the situation. And with the tools and techniques, these yoga-based tools I'm about to share with you, you know, do them with your children. Let these tools be of benefit also to you. Yeah, to help you come out of this sort of world of distraction and things taking your attention to also become more present, more grounded, more centered. Because we as parents also have very busy minds. Um, so yes, even more than the techniques that we're going to share is what really gets picked up by the kids is the quality of the attention um, that you are giving them, especially around bedtime, right? So just know that you don't need to have all the answers, but it is really good to just take a moment to pause and maybe put on some nice, soft, relaxing music for yourself and for the children in your life. Something that is going to draw your attention a little more inward, help you calm down just a little bit more. Um, be with your children in this space. Understand that they have a busy mind. Their bodies may be wanting to, still move around and be active, and just understand that that's very real for them. Very, very real. And it's hard for them to change. So And also maybe talk to them about some of your own struggles that you've had in help starting to relax and calm down. Talk to them about, insights that you've had about learning how to relax. Um, model for them what it's like to be authentically engaged, yeah, in this conversation and this process of letting go of the day and settling into a space of deeper stillness. Yeah. So, how do we do this? So let's look at the model that I use within the Yoga Based Tools course. It's kind of a modified model that I've simplified for tonight because we have a kind of a limited amount of time, and there's actually a lot of information I would love to share with you. So I have with me my little whiteboard here, and um, let's see. Now, can you see this? And is it? I'm hoping it's not backwards. If it is backwards, I will just explain it to you. But yes, I just before we look at this, I just wanted to say I know that stories are a really big part of bedtime. And reading books and stories are a wonderful way to sort of be together to create connection between us and the kids in our lives. However, a lot of times stories can create more mental activity, right? So a suggestion might be if you're going to read stories with your kids, maybe do it ahead of time, and then maybe if you have time even before a bath or something, and then after the story, remember kind of the concept in this model and the tools I'm going to show you, and use those after the story or the book or the reading to again draw attention inward, and to settle. So in this is kind of like a model of holistic intelligence. We talk a lot about emotional intelligence, but this is actually a little bigger than that. This is like all the layers of who we are in a model of sort of holistic wisdom and intelligence, right? According to yogic philosophy. So this is a model that's taken from the Upanishads. I've simplified it for tonight in the course. It's much more sort of elaborate. We go into great detail, into these layers and how they work, and how our actions and reactions are sort of all intertwined within this model. So we work tonight we'll work from kind of the densest part of ourselves, which is our bodies, right? That we work with kind of the most dense outer shell, the part that we identify with most, and then we work inward and inward and inward, and become more and more subtle. So we work from chaos to calm. We work from outer to inner. And we work from the body, this sort of dense structure of the body, to, more subtle aspects into the nervous system, into the breath and the energetic system, into the mind, right? And all the way into this sort of center of our being, which is the stillness. The stillness which kind of holds all of our experiences. It holds, all the thoughts that we have. It holds, the energy that flows in and around us. It even holds the experience of our bodies. And so all of these layers are kind of, we have to draw them in this way in order to talk about them and understand them. But really, they're kind of all interwoven, and one has, directly affects all of the others. The thoughts that we have in our mind affect our breath and the flow of energy through our body. And the body, of course, feels that. Likewise, if the body is experiencing some sort of pain or unwellness or injury, that affects our breath, it affects an energy, it affects the thoughts in our minds, right? And so these three are constantly changing. Yeah, they're kind of always dancing together to create our experience. This, however, does not change. This is the stillness that holds it all, that is unwavering and steady and ever loving, right? And so we work from the outer shell here in and kind of settle within that stillness where we can find that space of natural rest, right? So, using this sort of model and this idea, it's good to start sort of a bedtime pattern or ritual that works with the body, breath, and the mind. And this, you can use this information to develop your own sort of bedtime ritual. I usually use like one technique with the body, one with the breath, and one with the mind. So tonight, let's just start with I like to work with releasing the day. So, we sometimes turn down the lights and put on a candle and some nice soft music to try to just calm everything down, right? And we start with this outer structure of the body. And I like to just sort of brush off the day, so we just kind of brush the day off, whatever has happened. Whew, we just kind of like, brush it off our legs and off of our arms and just let it go. If it's being held somewhere in the structure of the body, you can even sort of brush down the face, move the joints, move the body gently and get out any wiggles gently. We want to just keep the movement soft and gentle. And you can do it standing up, you can do it sitting down, and just have a little move of the body. Let the kids tell you, how is it feeling in there? What does it feel like it's sort of stuck? What is actually feeling pretty good? It's like a little check in of what might be in there that's held from the day. Good for parents to do this as well. Just to have a little check in the form of moving the body and seeing what's there, what's going on in there. And once you've kind of done that, then it's quite good to look at the nervous system, which is directly held within the spine. All the nerves of the body are connected, within the spinal column. So move the spine. There's 6 ways that the spine can move, right? And to do this movement in a nice, gentle, flowing way can really, it's almost like rocking the body. Yeah. So you can do it standing up, you can do it sitting down, it's up to you. But the ways that the spine moves, right, are forwards and backwards. This is movement 1 and 2. And so you might want to just have your kids, move like this and maybe imitate sort of the movement of an animal that that moves in this way. Cat, cow, or an animal maybe that has a tail that propels them in this sort of a way, like a dolphin, or something, so that they have something to associate it with, but also in a calming way that just is like soothing. It's soothing for the body, soothing for the nervous system, like rocking a baby, and then you can go from side to side and see if you can get the kids to sort of really notice all the way from the tip of their tailbone to the base of the skull. Let the spine move, let the shoulders relax, maybe take a few deep breaths while you do this. And again, think about, maybe being in the ocean and another sort of sea creature that moves in this way, back and forth. So that's movement 3 and 4 of the spine, side to side. And then the last movements are twisting. So we have, just a gentle sort of twist to one side and a twist to the other side. And, you can make up a little story about this. I was in a school once that had a whole story about a little bear and how he, ran up a hill and down a hill. And or have your kids, even once they get familiar with these movements, they can make up the story, like a little sort of, just a gentle sort of association, with these movements. You could even in the twist stay for a moment, stay, move the shoulders, move the head, make sure nothing hurts. We never do these in a way that hurts, but breathing in and out, and then coming back to the center and doing the other side. And you can have gentle music playing, you can have the lights down low, maybe a candle on, and then come back to the center and just pause for a moment and just let the kids maybe tell you, how does that feel? What happens when you do those movements? How does the body feel? What happens in your mind? Have them kind of watch what's happening from this space here so that are not identifying totally with what's in their mind or what's in their body. They're kind of watching it and feeling it at the same time. So then we move into the breath. And the breath can be, you know, anything that kind of brings again that attention inward, in and down, right? So let's say, just looking at my notes here so I don't forget anything. um, I like to use a candle. You could even I have a little candle here. And what I used to do with my kids was have them just sort of take a deep breath in and slowly blow out the candle. And as they blow out the candle, that releases whatever they may still be holding on to from the day. And just let it go. All the conversations, all of the happenings, all of the interactions, anything that happened, you just let it go out with that out breath so that what remains is, quietness from deep inside. Another nice breath tool to do would be like a grounding breath, things that focus on the exhale, right? Inhaling brings in energy and brings in aliveness, which is always great. But in this case, we're looking to release and soften and settle. So, like a flushing or grounding breath that flushes through the body is really lovely. Taking a breath in and then imagining like a wave or a color that just, with the exhale, that flushes through the body, through the nervous system. Letting go of any tightness or tangles that they may feel within their body. And also in the mind, you can do a grounding breath. Also, by focusing on the mind, any tightness or tension or gripping within the mind, take a deep breath. Let it float into the mind, and as you exhale, flushing through the mind, or like combing out the tangles in the body and in the mind. There's so many breathing techniques, that can be used for this. Anything that focuses on that exhale can be very, very beneficial. One more lovely breath tool is to use sound vibration, the voice even, to do like a sighing breath where you breathe in and exhale, and you can even use like vowel sounds and notice how each sound changes the way that you feel. So you can start with ah, breathing in, and it's a long, slow, and then breathe in again and try E. E. All the way to the end of the exhale. Let that exhale carry you into stillness. And just notice how that feels. And then maybe try ooh, breathing in. And to finish, after the pause, you could try You could breathing in like an M sound. All the way to stillness. And when the lips are closed, it kind of brings that sense of, closure, of completeness to the process. So you can try that and see how it happened, how it works. There's all sorts of things to use. We move from the body to the breath, and then even more subtly into the mind, right? So this is where now we start to really bring in that one-pointed focus. And what works really well, I have found, is the number one thing I've found that works is this. So this is a Tibetan singing bowl. which is really lovely if you have one. If you don't have one, something else that works really well that my kids loved was music, like any sort of calming, meditative music that has, some sort of a tonal sound to it. You could maybe even look up 500, 528 hertz is sort of the love vibration. It carries a certain tone. My kids used to love that. This was always the winner, though, to have them lie down. And you can do this in that breathing exercise with the vowels as well, to have them sit for a moment and listen with a hearing that goes beyond what we do with our ears. Listen with the whole body to the sound. Even the sound that they make within themselves with the humming, to listen, where do you feel that in your body? How does it make you feel? Yeah. And this is sort of like an external sound that has a very similar sort of calming effect. So if they listen, I'll play it for you now so that you can experience it too. If you just sit for a moment, close your eyes, take a deep breath, focusing on the inhale. So maybe even sigh out the breath. Clearing the body and the mind, getting ready for the sound, listening with your whole body, deeper than what you do with your ears. See if you can keep your eyes closed until you no longer hear the sound. When you can no longer hear the sound, then just take a moment to pause. When you can no longer hear the sound, then just take a moment to pause, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Just notice how you feel. Um, so though you can do that also with a little bell or a triangle instrument, or even you could use a wine glass with some water in it, and you dip your finger in the water, yeah, and kind of run it around the top of the wine glass, and that makes a really beautiful tonal sound as well. Mm. So that's a little idea that you could use. A body scan is another really lovely way, like a yoga nidra for kids. I include a couple of these in the course, um, and they are sort of going through the body, imagining, the body smiling. Each part of the body as you go through just relaxes and smiles, or like a warm wave of energy moving through each part of the body. Um, so things like this that help bring the mind out of that distracted state after the body tools and the breath tools, already things probably will start to calm down. But then to really bring it in, yeah, we use these sort of more meditative things like the yoga nidra or body scan, using the sound of the bell, um, even just like some fingertip breathing. We're breathing in and out. This is a body tool and a breath tool and a mind tool. Yeah, breathing in and out. Yeah, is another way that kind of engages the body and the senses. Yeah, if the mind is still a little bit distracted. So this is the basic sort of philosophy that we work from the densest part of ourselves, the body, what we identify with most. Yeah. We work from that inward and inward and inward to the more subtle levels until we kind of settle enough into that space of stillness and natural rest. Um, so it's creating a ritual around bedtime is a wonderful thing to do, and it does take a bit of time. It takes quite a bit of energy, and the part of a parent or a carer. But by establishing this, yeah, and sharing this information in whatever way, your kids will understand it best. It's different for different age groups, and the way kids learn is different, but to sort of introduce them to this model in your own way, have them be aware of all of these different sort of aspects of who they are, and to have wisdom around what's going on, in their body, breath, and mind, so that then they're sort of empowered and have the wisdom and clarity to know what is needed to be able to slow down, to calm down, and to relax. And so after you establish this and work with them, they will learn to use it on their own. And that's a very powerful thing. That's a very, very important, you know, skill to have, when not only just in growing up, but in life in general. I mean, I wish I had had this information when I was growing up at 8, 9, 10 years old. It would have helped tremendously. So, um, yes, this is just a little taster of what's in the course. It's a lot more elaborate. There's many more tools. There's a lot more detail in all of this in the course. If you have any questions, I'd love to open it up now for any questions you might have, or comments, or feedback, or anything. And it's a lot of information. I know it is. We've gone very quickly through it tonight. So don't worry, is the main thing. If this is all still kind of like, wow, that's a lot to take in, I know it is. It's a lot. Um, so you will have the recording, and you can watch it again and again if you need to. Again, it takes time for this to sink in. So be patient, yeah, and know that centering yourself and coming from that space of love within yourself, that's number one. Um, Especially when trying to impart this wisdom and knowledge with your children. You do. Thanks, Rishma. Yes, and if anything is still unclear, um, I'm always happy to answer questions at a later date as well. So, are there any more questions? And thank you. I want to say thank you to Masha, who is in Europe, who is helping me with kind of guiding this webinar. So thank you, Masha. Um, and all the team at Eckhart Yoga who helped this all come together. Just remember too that after this webinar finishes, that you will get an email that will give you a 20% discount on the course, Yoga-Based Tools for Kids, Parents, and Educators. It will also include the recording of this webinar, and feel free to share the recording with whoever you think might benefit from this information today, or from the course itself. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. I really appreciate you being part of this. So let's just take a moment to sit before we say goodbye. So come into a comfortable seat. Take a deep breath in. Just exhale through your mouth, and perhaps let your eyes close. And just bring your attention to the space of your heart. And just feel with gentleness from your heart through your whole body, knowing that no matter how frustrating or challenging things may seem as a parent or a guardian or a carer of children, that we always just do our best and that it's enough. Doing our best is the best we can do, and it's enough as long as we are connected to that love, that deep love, that unwavering, unchanging steadiness, even just a thread of our attention anchored there in that helps to guide us with wisdom and clarity in this role of parenting and guiding young people. So, thank you very much. Um, I'm very grateful to have been able to be here with you, and yeah, look forward to seeing you soon. Hope you enjoyed the webinar, and I hope you enjoy the course.